morning. Good morning, everybody. As the Dean of the Physics Faculty, it's my pleasure to welcome you to this opening session of the workshop on earthquakes and tsunamis in Iberia. First of all, I want to introduce you, people joining me at the table, the Vice Rector of the Complutense University, Vice Rector for Research, Ignacio. Also, we have representatives from the Spanish Navy, Fernando Pool, Rear Admiral, and Javier Galindo, Director of the Royal Institute and Observatory of San Fernando. And we have also José Antonio López, Subdirector of the Geographic Institute for Spain, National Institute, and Elisa Buffon, Professor of the Physics Department and co-organizer of the workshop. So first of all, I want to thank actually the organizing committee, represented here by Professor Buffon, also to Mauricio Matesini. Thank you very much for this workshop. It is fair to say that they have done, believe me, a very intensive and excellent job during these days to bring you today this workshop with top researchers and an excellent scientific level. So thank you very much and congratulations for that. So you're at the University Complutense of Madrid. We are one of the oldest universities in Europe, also one of the largest in terms of many parameters like number of students, number of degree programs, number of research groups. And here at the Physics Faculty, at the Physics Department, we are no exception. We are also one of the largest physics departments in Spain, also very, very large compared to the average size in Europe. Our research groups are widely recognized, and we have groups from the very theoretical to very applied disciplines of physics. And in particular, geophysics is actually one of our most active research lines. Geophysics actually is not only that, but in this building is one of the more long-standing historic traditional research lines. Many professionals, not only researchers, but also professionals of different private and public institutions have been formed here. We have some examples here around in the table, actually. And so it's a pleasure for us, and we're very proud of this group and their activity. And it's clear from the level of this workshop today that this is an internationally widely recognized group, which we're very proud of. So what I have to say is that you enjoy the workshop, enjoy the discussions, enjoy the talks. Also, if you can, especially from those coming from abroad, if you can find some time to enjoy the city and its surroundings, it will also be, I'm sure, very, very nice for you. It's a very warm city, both in terms of weather and people, and not only the city, but its surroundings with impressive cultural heritage. So try to find some time to also to enjoy the atmosphere. And I don't have much more to say. Just wish you to enjoy this workshop and have a very pleasant stay in Madrid. Thank you very much. Okay, so now Elisa Buffon.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to this workshop. 50 years ago, on February 69, a large earthquake located at the same area where occurred the large Lisbon earthquake struck the Iberian Peninsula and northern Morocco. This earthquake caused important damage and casualties. The shock was followed by a tsunami that devastated the coast of Atlantic coast of Iberian Peninsula and Atlantic coast of Morocco. But this event is not an isolated event because the large tsunami-genic earthquakes is a characteristic of the Ibero-Maghrebian region. The Lisbon Earthquake is another good example. Also the Oran 1790 earthquake, or more recent, the Boumerdès in 2003 in Algeria also shocks. They are representative of these natural events. In the last years, there are many new results derived from the installation of new seismological broadband stations in land, also ocean bottom seismometer, GPS, geodetic and geological survey, and other results. The objective of this workshop is the discussion of these new results in order to improve the knowledge of the occurrence of earthquakes and the Ibero-Maghrebian region. We have a total of 44 abstracts that have been submitted, and most of them correspond to oral, 40, and 5 to poster presentation. And they correspond to different topics such as the crustal structure, seismic and geodetic networks, historical and instrumental seismicity, seismic sources, regional stresses and deformation, earthquake early warning system, seismic risks, tsunamis, seismotectonic, and others. The number of participants is more than 70 from different countries such as Spain, of course, Portugal, Italy, Algeria, Germany, France, United States, Korea, etc. And a special issue of pure and applied geophysics from the Science Citation Index journals will be dedicated to the presentation of these workshops. We want to thank to the Universidad Complutense de Madrid and the Instituto Geológico Nacional for the support given for the organization of the workshop, but also other institutions such as the Real Instituto de Observatorio de la Armada in San Fernando, the Minister of Defense, our department and the faculty, and especially to our PhD students that they are not here because they are under registration, Carolina, Alicia, and Raquel, with this support has been essential for this workshop, together with Salvador and Lucia. Finally, I would like to remember an important fact that this, the first study of the 1969 earthquake and its aftershock was carried out by two Spanish researchers, Alfonso López Arroyo from the Instituto Geológico Nacional and Professor Agustín Udías. Agustín still is active working, and today he is attending to the workshop. Thank you very much, Agustín, for your contribution for all this year, especially for your help and your example. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Elisa. So now Fernando Pool, the Admiral, Chief Admiral of the General Services and Technical Assistant.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank the Complutense University of Madrid, and in particular, the Faculty of Physics, the kind invitation to participate in this workshop. This workshop celebrates the 50th anniversary of the Saint Vincent earthquake that occurred on 28 February 1969. That earthquake was felt all over Iberia and caused serious damage, especially around the southwest of the region. Maybe some of the more veterans in this room could remember the social alarm caused by such a powerful earthquake. I know that the Spanish Navy participation in this workshop can cause surprise in some of you, especially when the program main topic is so different from the common task of the Navy. At this point, I would like to remember that the relationship between the Navy and the earth sciences comes from several centuries ago, and more exactly from the 18th century. It was in the very beginning of that century when two Navy officers, Jorge Juan and Antonio de Ulloa, took part in the French-Spanish geodesic campaign in the Viceroyalty of Peru to get the measurement of 1 degree arc on meridian to determine the shape of the Earth. Upon their return to Spain, And thanks to the Jorge Juan initiative, the Navy founded the Royal Observatory of Cádiz in 1753. Later, in 1798, the ROA, Real Observatorio de la Armada, moved to San Fernando, where it is currently located. We cannot forget the Marina Ilustrada contribution to science in the 18th century. In this period, the Spanish Navy promoted ambitious scientific expeditions like the Malaspina and Bustamante campaign. These two great sailors and scientists sailed during more than 5 years along the east coast of South America, the west coast of America, covering from Chile to Alaska, and across Philippines, Mariana, New Zealand, Australia, among other Pacific islands, carrying out cartographic survey and hydrographic and geomagnetic research. Geophysics is one of the traditional research fields of the ROA, and more precisely, since 1898, seismology. That year, Milne installed the first Spanish seismic station in the observatory of the Navy. Since then, a variety of seismic instruments has been operating without interruptions. Among them, in 1996, the seismic network Western Mediterranean, that has been already mentioned, was installed thanks to the close collaboration between the Navy and the Complutense University of Madrid, with the participation of Mohammed V University of Morocco, the Évora University of Portugal, and the GFZ Institute of Germany. This network, which has already 15 broadband stations deployed in the south of the Iberian Peninsula, Balearic Island, and Northern Africa, is complemented with an array of ocean-bottom seismometers deployed in the Gulf of Cádiz and in the Alboran Sea. I would like to highlight that this cooperation in earth sciences between the Navy and the Complutense University began earlier in 1975 during the International Geodynamic Project. There, deep seismic profiles of the Iberian Peninsula and surrounding maritime areas were developed. In this project took part the Observatory of the Navy and several hydrographic vessels, among other Spanish Navy units. Since then, this bilateral collaboration has been fluent, covering the educational activity as well as the scientific research. This introduction shows that the earth sciences is a field of great interest for the Navy, especially seismology, and more precisely, the study of the earthquakes and tsunamis in the Gulf of Cádiz. That area is relevant for us, not only due to its seismicity, but also for the natural hazard that may directly affect the Navy unit based in that region, in particular in the Gulf of Cádiz. To finish, on behalf of the Spanish Navy, I would like to express again my gratitude to the workshop organization for inviting us to take part in this opening season. Welcome to the workshop participants, and my best wishes for your scientific development and outcomes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fernando. Now, Javier Galindo, Director of the Royal Institute and Observatory of the Army. Okay. So the Navy has already been represented by Admiral Poole, so we pass the word to José Antonio López, the Sub-Director General of the National Institute, Geographic National Institute.
Thank you. Dear estimated researchers, dear colleagues, dear friends, I don't know what an astronomer can say, like me, about geophysics, but I would try to be as close to the geophysics as I can. Okay. So, really it's a pleasure for me to be here at this opening of this workshop about the earthquake from 1969. Cabo San Vicente. That year, we all know, and we will know in the following lectures, I'm sure. This large earthquake, stroke Iberia and Northern Africa, and then a tsunami came, affecting our coastline and also creating a lot of important damages in our country and our region. Now, 50 years later, with the evolution of the information society and technology and everything, especially internet, things have changed a lot, let's say. We are facing new important challenges in the distribution and also in the processing of signals that has a huge potential impact on the population. For instance, one of these challenges will be addressed today in the invited lecture from Professor Allen about early warning system with smartphones. It's really incredible what these smartphones can do now. For example, using the technology inside the smartphones, we can also develop very cheap accelerometers, for example, and so on. Well, as it couldn't be other way, at the IGN, we are deeply involved in the development of this instrumentation for seismology, and also in the handling of the information for the earthquake detection, of course, the effects in the coastlines with the tsunami warning system, and also in seismicity studies and the coordination of the seismo-resistant regulation normative. By the way, I have been told that a few months before the 1969 earthquake, the first seismo-resistant normative was issued. Also in 1969, it was the trigger date for the collaboration of Professor Días at the IGN as an invited lecturer. Together with Professor López Arroyo, at that time the head of the seismology department at the IGN, they published the first paper related to this 1969 earthquake. Well, that means 1969 is a very important event, and it is worth to do this special workshop about that. Well, since that earthquake, we have been beaten by many events like that, several important events and with dramatical effects like the one in Lorca. But however, 1969 earthquake is still the strongest in the 2 centuries in our area. Of course, it is worth this special workshop about this event. So, I don't want to finish without taking the advantage of this opportunity and remind you that next year is also a very important anniversary for the IGN, because it's the 150-year anniversary of the birth of the IGN. So, once again, I take the advantage to invite you to the events that it will take place next year. For instance, and one of the most important will be the organization of the next Hispano-Portuguese assembly that will be held in Toledo for geodesy and geophysics, where I'm sure that many of you will be present. So, many thanks to the university, many thanks to allow me to share this table with the Navy and the San Fernando Observatory, very good friends. And of course, I wish you a very nice meeting. And please, as always, share your knowledge, because scientists and researchers, we need to share our knowledge to improve. Thank you very much. And that's all.
Thank you very much, José Antonio. So now the Vice Rector for Research, Ignacio Lizasoain, will close this opening session.
Thank you very much, my dear Dean of this faculty. Good morning, everyone. For me, it's a real pleasure to stay here. I would like to give you my warmest welcome on behalf of the Rector, Carlos Andrada, that he would like to be here, but by the agenda problems, he couldn't. And of course, by name as by Provost of Research. Really, welcome to the Complutense University and to this Complutense Physics School. As the Dean has said, for me it's a real pleasure to be here, no? Because the School of Physics is quite important in the university. As he said, he has a very strong experience on research. We always discussing about in the different calls that we have on research in the university. There are many applicants from the physics, from the physical school, no? And not only as pre-doc positions, but also as postdoc positions, no? And really, it's a pleasure to stay here with many scientists, with many speakers, and as I say, to be here inaugurating this meeting about earthquakes and tsunamis in Iberia, 50 years of the 1969 St. Vincent earthquake, is, I think that is a quite interesting meeting. I cannot say a lot because the rest of my colleagues at the table have spoken about this meeting. I am a medical doctor and my expertise area is very far from the earthquakes, no? But I have seen the program and I observed that there are more than 40 oral sessions, 2 invited lectures, a poster session. I think that is a very good program with very good scientists speaking about this area. And I cannot say many things about that. I would like to thank Professor Elisa Buffon and Maurizio Mattesini, for organizing this meeting. Also to thank all the speakers, to thank all the organizers and all of you to be here, and of course my colleagues from this table, Fernando Pool, Javier Galindo, José Antonio López, and of course Elisa Buffon. 3 days, I think that you have a very strong meeting with many lectures, and I don't know if you are going to have time to have a walk by the campus. I recommend you because this is a very nice campus, and also in this time we are also on spring because you know that the global change is affecting us, and you can see a very nice campus now. And if you have time, also enjoy Madrid. It's a very nice weather now. Well, I don't know because apparently it's clouds and raining is coming. And please enjoy these 3 days. And again, thank you, Professor Buffon and Mattesini, and of course, thanks, Dean of the Physical School. Thank you very much for everything.
With the registration and the coffee break now. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.